Welcome to The Root Cause, a podcast that takes a deep dive into all things manufacturing, sponsored by Mass Group. All right, so today we're diving into something that I think a lot of manufacturers think about.
Okay.
And that's manufacturing execution systems.
Okay.
We're going to call it MES for short, obviously.
Okay.
And we're specifically looking at Mass Group's TME software.
Right.
And one of the things that's interesting about this is this whole idea of a no-code approach,
Yeah, that's huge.
which is kind of intriguing.
Yeah, and Mass Group, they've been around. I mean, they're not some new kid on the block.
Right.
They've been in the game since '98.
Yeah, they've been making waves.
Yeah, semiconductors, aerospace, that's their bread and butter.
But this no-code thing, I feel like opens it up
Oh, absolutely.
to a lot more people.
Democratizing it, right.
Totally. You don't have to be like,
You don't have to have a software engineering degree
yeah, like all those other ones. Yeah.
that are out there.
Exactly.
So one of the things that they talk about, and I think this is something that anybody who's listening to this who works in manufacturing is familiar with,
For sure.
they talk about pain points.
Right.
And one of the things that they say is lack of real-time visibility.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how many times
All the time.
have you been like, where is this?
Right. Where's that? What's going on?
Yeah, and you're just like
Right.
flying blind.
And it's not just even where is this, where's that? It's also what is the status of this?
Yeah.
What's going on with that? Totally. Like you're saying, it's just like you're in the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're trying to solve that.
Transparency is key.
Totally. And, another thing is like scaling operations,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like you solve one problem
And then it's like, okay.
and then you have a whole other set of problems
Oh, like.
because you've now scaled,
Right.
because you've grown, which is a good problem to have.
Right. Exactly.
But it's still something that you need to address.
So their thing is designed to kind of grow with you.
That's the idea, right? It's modular.
Right.
You can scale up as you need to.
Okay, so they're kind of like hitting on these pain points that I think
they're spot on.
people can relate to.
Yeah.
Let's get into the specifics about how they're actually addressing it.
Okay, let's do it.
And one of the things that they talk about is real-time production tracking and control,
Yeah.
which
This sounds like what it is, right?
it sounds great on paper, but like,
But what does it mean?
what does that actually mean? I mean, I guess in a way, it's kind of what we were just saying.
It's that visibility, right?
Yeah.
So you can see where everything is, what state it's in.
Right.
If something's going to go wrong,
Yeah.
maybe you can see it before it happens.
Prevent it.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Be proactive.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's like air traffic control for your...
That's their analogy. Yeah.
Right.
It's your factory floor.
I like that.
I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have that. And then we also have, in addition to that,
Mm-hmm.
quality management compliance.
Right. Because you could be doing things really efficiently.
Right.
But if the quality is crap,
It doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter.
It's like garbage.
Exactly.
So, and I feel like especially more and more these days,
Oh, absolutely.
this idea of compliance and everything
Traceability.
is huge.
Yeah.
And then this kind of goes hand in hand with that
It does.
asset and maintenance management,
This is one that people don't always think about,
right?
but it's so important
Yeah.
because if your equipment's always breaking down,
Right.
you're not going to be producing anything.
Or if it's not running efficiently.
Or if it's not running as well as it could,
Right.
you're leaving money on the table.
It does.
But basically, it's all about making sure that the data you're getting from your equipment
Okay.
is accurate,
It's reliable.
that you can actually use it,
And that it can talk to
and that it can talk to other systems.
other systems.
Because that's the big thing, right? You don't want these systems to be siloed.
Right.
You need them to be able to communicate with each other.
So it's like a universal language for your machines.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay. And
Yeah.
it's not just like the machines and stuff. They even talk about inventory,
Oh, yeah. Inventory management, that's a big one.
which can be a real pain.
Huge.
And it's funny because like this whole time I've been thinking like, oh, inventory, that's like the least sexy part.
Right. It's not the exciting part.
But it's like, but it's crucial. If you don't have the parts,
It is. It's the foundation.
you're dead in the water.
If you don't have the stuff to build, you can't build anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we get into this whole other thing,
Right.
which is performance analysis and reporting.
Right. Because you have all this data now.
Right.
You have to do something with it.
So it's like all this data is coming in,
Right.
but it's like,
It's got to be useful.
what do you do with it?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how are you actually making this?
Right. It's got to be more than just numbers on a screen.
Right, exactly.
Actionable insights.
Okay.
That's what you're looking for.
Okay, so that kind of takes us to the like, this all sounds great on paper,
Right.
but does it work in the real world?
Right. The proof is in the pudding.
And thankfully, they have a case study.
They do. They do.
So they talk about this company, Tech.
Yeah, and I looked them up. They're legit.
Okay, they're not like
Not some made-up company.
some made-up company.
No, they're a real company doing real things.
Okay, so what's interesting is they have this quote from this engineer, and this is the quote.
Okay.
We've completely erased any traceability concerns.
And, in their industry, that's huge.
Okay.
Because they do a lot of stuff, I think, in the semiconductor space.
Okay.
Where traceability is not just like a nice to have.
Right.
It's a must have.
It's mission critical.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a big deal.
So I think that kind of gives us a good overview
Yeah, I think so.
of like what this software does.
The features, the capabilities.
So let's bring it back
Okay.
to you,
For the listener.
the listener.
Yeah.
What does this actually mean for you? What I think is really cool about this is that it's not like you have to use all of it.
Right.
They make it very clear in the marketing materials that it's like, build what you need.
It's a la carte software. Right?
Yeah. So like, let's say you're like, you know what? Our biggest problem is inventory.
Right.
You can start there.
Exactly. You don't have to do everything at once.
Okay. So you don't feel overwhelmed. It's not like...
You don't need to rip and replace your whole system.
Right. Exactly.
Start with what you need and grow from there.
I like that. It's very practical. Okay, so they sort of end on this question with this idea of automation.
Mm-hmm.
Because, a lot of what we've been talking about is automating
Right.
a lot of these processes.
Of course.
But then that begs the question, what happens to the people?
Right. Are the robots taking over?
Right. And I mean, obviously, no, but like, you know what I mean.
I think it's a valid concern.
Totally.
Because we've seen it happen in other industries.
Exactly.
Where automation comes in and, yes, some jobs are lost.
Right.
But I think what they're getting at here is it's not about replacing people.
It's about helping the people.
It's about empowering people.
Yeah.
Giving them the tools to do their jobs even better.
So instead of like the robot taking your job, it's like the robot is now your assistant.
Exactly.
It's like making your job better.
And freeing you up to do more high-level stuff.
Right, like the thinking work.
Exactly, the strategic stuff.
So it's like maybe not so much like man versus machine, but like...
Man plus machine.
Yeah, I like that.
Working together.
All right, so if you are in charge of a manufacturing facility and you are looking for some efficiency gains...
Who isn't?
Right.
Who isn't looking for efficiency gains?
This seems like a pretty good option.
I would say so. And I think, don't just take our word for it.
Go check it out.
Go check it out. Go to their website. See what they're all about.
See if it's a good fit for you.
Exactly, because every business is different.
Right. A big thank you to our listeners for joining us on this deep dive into the world of MES and Mass Group's TME.
Until next time.
And remember, in the world of manufacturing, the only constant is change. Stay curious, stay adaptable, and most importantly, stay efficient.